Let me be clear. I never had meetings with Russian operatives or Russian intermediaries about the Trump campaign.
The Russia scandal is officially back. The Washington Post reported last night that during the 2016 election, then-Senator, now Attorney General, Jeff Sessions met with Russian Ambassador Sergei Kislyak twice. Except that's not exactly what he said during his confirmation hearings.
I have been called a surrogate at a time or two in that campaign, and I did not have communications with the Russians.
At a 4 p.m. press conference today, Sessions tried to clean up the mess.
My reply to the question of Senator Franken was honest and correct as I understood it at the time.
Democrats and Republicans spent the day calling on Sessions to recuse himself from the investigation. And at his press conference, he announced that he would. Democrats have gone further and called for a resignation.
The fact that the Attorney General, the top cop in our country, lied under oath to the American people is grounds for him to resign.
But unless they can prove he actually perjured himself, that's unlikely. And President Trump said today that he has total confidence in Sessions.
Mr. President, do you still have confidence in the Attorney General, sir?
Total.
In the meantime, Congress has a lot of investigative options, and they're going to have to figure out the best way to hold Sessions accountable.
There are several investigations already in progress, some in the executive branch and some in Congress. The executive branch investigation is being led by the FBI, which is awkward because the FBI is part of the Department of Justice, which is run by Attorney General Jeff Sessions. That's why Sessions announced today that he'll recuse himself. But even recusal is based on trust that Sessions isn't interfering with the Deputy Attorney General, a political appointee who would take charge of the investigation and has his own confirmation hearing next week. What Sessions could do is appoint a special counsel, an independent investigator inside the Department of Justice who could operate without any kind of political interference. Democrats, including Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, want more.
We now know the only way that this will happen is if an independent, impartial, special prosecutor who has no attachment to this administration conducts this investigation.
A special prosecutor is a different kind of position. Think Ken Starr in the Monica Lewinsky case. And Congress would have to pass a new law to make it happen, which won't happen anytime soon. But Congress does have its own investigations underway, and now it has some decisions to make. The main effort is happening in the Senate Intelligence Committee. The House Intelligence Committee is doing an investigation too. The Senate Armed Services and Judiciary Committees are gearing up as well. But none of these panels have the jurisdiction or the staffing to take on an inquiry as sprawling as this one. And because Congress is an inherently political institution, the majority party, in this case the Republicans, can run the show unilaterally, calling the integrity of these investigations into question from the start. So what's the right way to get to the bottom of Trump's Russia connections? Some members want an independent commission, like the 9/11 Commission, but that too requires a new law that would be subject to a presidential veto, and it would also take a long time. The 9/11 Commission worked for almost 2 years before issuing its report. The next logical and fair option is what's called a select committee. Basically, Congress makes a new committee, populated by existing members of Congress, dedicated only to this investigation. Select committees can hire all the staff they need and can grant immunity in exchange for testimony. Select committees have done some of the government's most successful investigative work in the past, including the Iran-Contra investigation, looking into the Nixon administration, and the handling of Hurricane Katrina. Crucially, a select committee could be chartered to have an equal number of Republicans and Democrats. That, plus the freedom and resources to follow any lead, is probably the best bet for a meaningful investigation. But making it happen, and how it would be configured, rests with Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, and he probably won't make a move until he sees a political cost in resisting calls to do more.